Black and Armenian, 17, we do beating.
Shit, nigga, let me grab some of the Henny, cuz.
Black and Armenian, nigga, what's he mean? Never the team.
Y'all niggas really on some trash shit.
Welcome.
With this straight shit. Crazy.
Yeah.
Nigga, what is you doing?
Yeah.
Yo, what's wrong with you, bro?
Just a little bit. It's sponsored to you by Hennessy.
No, it ain't, nigga. I mean, that would be nice.
Unofficially.
But it ain't right now. But Errol. Yo, what up, man? Jackson 1616, creator and host of One Mic Stand. Also, 1/3 of Sexual Stranger. Shout out to Singing Juice. What up? What's going on? Look, I'm in Houston. It's hot as fuck, but I still got my jacket on for the sake of the outfit. But I'm gonna be wiping my face quite a bit. And I've been drinking. I had 2 Long Islands. Can't even say Long Island. Long Island, but I got some fucking Henny right here. This nigga's a fucking alcoholic, so he don't mix it with nothing.
Hey,
even though I got juice in the fridge right now, specifically, I got the Martinellis just for this.
No Henny and apple juice tonight.
But anyway, man, like I said, man, I'm in Houston. I'm with the homies. It's several friends that's coming in town, but I kind of wanted to experiment with something different. Instead of having them all sit down at once, I kind of want to have one-on-one conversations with every single one of them about different stuff. So this is the first of hopefully like 3 or 4 conversations. So we just gonna see how it go, man. My nigga
What's
Meaze,
good, man?
What's going on?
Good to see you down here, man.
Indeed, man. All the time it is, man. I love Houston, man. Houston is one of my favorite. Said me too. But Houston is one of my favorite. Like, I don't even want to call it a vacation spot, but just a spot to kind of like get away and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
How long you been down here?
About 8 years now, since 2012. Just trying to go ahead and find out spots to stay at and make it the official residence and grind from that spot. So
for sure. Now I want to get right into it because I ain't gonna keep you here forever. We were talking about a couple things over the past couple of days, but one of the things that I found that was like kind of interesting was a conversation that I think you hit me with last night. I don't want to butcher it for you, so you could kind of like reintroduce us to the conversation about the violation.
Man, we talked about so much shit.
We did. It was the violating part of like the.
Oh, like the safe space?
Yes.
Okay. All right. From what I can remember, we was talking about, because we did have a Hennessy today, and I had Crown yesterday. But anyway, what I can remember we were talking about was just understanding the safe space. So like when a lady approaches you with a conversation when you're working together, and they may want just your general advice or perspective on a situation, and you insert your flirtatiousness with it, is that a violation, I guess, of the safe space?
Well, give us what's an example? Like, what's like a scenario? Like, what made you think of this, first of all?
Actually, I was sitting back high one day, and oh shit, well, fuck it. Well, anyway, so I was sitting back high one day, and it was just a thought that came to me. I think I was watching some show, and a lot of the culture of nowadays is, focusing on what men are doing, toxic masculinity, whatever have you. And so in some instances, it's like, well, I can see that. And then it had me just question, like, well, if you are, I guess, attracted to somebody, or you sense a feeling of attraction, and you speak on that attraction, after you speak, will that violate the safe space that's within that person? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Will they still, still come to you and for the advice, or, because you really don't try to, but that is, like, I guess that is, I don't know if that's a requirement. I don't know exactly how I'm trying to say it, but it's like, is that like if there's is that a requirement where I am supposed to acknowledge and give kind of advice
As a man or as a friend?
as just, I mean, you know how it is. Sometimes you're in the workplace and you know what I mean. It's just like they'll come to you possibly, and you know, hey, this is what's going on with me, and then you know I sit back and I just don't say anything. You know what I'm saying? Because like we said, like you get to giving advice. That's a level of intimacy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That can get there, and then if you get intimate, you may try to get, you know what I'm saying, to take it further, and then that may be a violation of that safe spot that she thought she was in with you.
I know that, like, to add on to what we was kind of talking about last night, I really think I can't really call it a violation unless you violate in the way that you try to pursue. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if it's on some, like, you just, like, touch her, or you just be like, damn, like, look at them titties, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, some kind of like some disrespectful shit, then that's a violation, whether you're a homie, you're a coworker, you're an associate, a friend, or whatever. Like, that's a violation just on a human level.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't think it can be a full, like, violation if you're just expressing that you're expressing interest, but you're doing it in a respectful way. Now, what might happen is if she's not on that same page that you're on, and she's literally just trying to get your advice, like, from a male perspective,
Right.
then she might feel, I don't want to say violated, but she just might feel like that's not the page that she was on at all.
Right.
And now she just might be a little bit more reluctant to come to you in the future.
Correct.
Because now you've kind of like lit the cat out of the bag, so to speak.
Yeah.
And you kind of like blew your load because that's not what she was on, but then you made that leap. And now she knows what you want, but now she's a little bit uncomfortable. It might be awkward for her for y'all to, like, go forth like business as usual.
I sometimes think back at, like, I mean, I've been working as a career type of guy for the last like 8-9 years, and you know, prior to me being married, you know, obviously there was situations where I was in the workplace, and you know, it would lead to, you know, hey, what you think about this, or I'm going through this, and you like, oh, and then you would give, you know, and as you start to give that advice, that's my mom. She don't matter right now. Love you, mama. But as you start to get that advice or whatever, like I said, then they'll come back, and you know, and it's like you don't want to just alone, like that's a level, like I said, that's a level of intimacy that's going on when you actually give a, hey, mama, I might need to.
If she call, you can just answer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but yeah, that's a violation of the safe space. That was my question to myself, is like, if I back then was on, which I did do, and it ended up working out in my favor, where, you know, I expressed, and it was like, oh yeah, you know, it's cool. But if it didn't, you know what I'm saying, if it didn't go in that direction, it was like, dang, like, am I a predator? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like did I do that right, or, you know? And so that was just it. And it's like, as you get older, you just want to be, like I said, especially in this world, you just want to be more knowledgeable about navigating those scenarios of, you know, when people come to you for whatever. Like I said, nowadays, I don't say, hey, like, man, I had a fucked up day yesterday. I just be like,
That's the world.
Yeah. Life fucked up, man. That's fucked up.
So what made you? Was it just being married or becoming married, or if not that, what factors made you just stop giving people that advice, or stop allowing that potential intimate moment to, like, take place?
I mean, I think that when you are a person who is, I mean, a lot of married men, we still battle temptation or whatever have you. You know what I mean, that's gonna be a daily thing that you do, or that's how you operate. You know, you got to make sure that you do this and that. So it's like, to minimize those, you got to remove yourself from the situation. You got to remove yourself sometimes from even the potential of a situation. So, you know, you can acknowledge, I can acknowledge to my wife, like, damn, she fine, or she got fat ass, or some big ass titties, whatever it is, and we can laugh and joke. We can laugh and joke. So you can acknowledge that, but you also know if like, and that, you know, like if they start to hang around you, you know, you gotta shit, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you can't,
What is that pressure like moving from a single man to a man in a relationship to an engaged man to a married man, in terms of like how you have to kind of maybe judge your female friendships differently or maneuver within them differently? Or have you even maneuvered in them differently or no?
whoever I know and who's a friend of mine, I bring that to, you know, I bring them with me, obviously, to the marriage. You know, I won't cut nobody off. You know what I'm saying? I'm not cutting anybody off who I am still cool with, you know. And sometimes even if we have had something in the past, but we've legit not done anything, you know what I'm saying, for years, you know what I'm saying? And I know that I don't see them on that level anymore, you know, then that's just what it is, you know what I'm saying? We're all mature adults, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, hey, such and so, they got a lot, we converse about this, we might converse about stocks, we might converse about something else, but it ain't on that level, you know what I'm saying? So
how do you like, I don't know if the right word is like fend off or stiff arm, but like forming new like platonic female relationships, like you said, like in the workplace or just out at like happy hour, because you know what I'm saying, like I feel like we are at an age where just because a man and a woman happen to speak doesn't mean that something is gonna, you know, happen from that.
right.
You know what I mean? It could just be like you sit next to a woman at a bar, or you sitting at the bar and a woman sit next to you. Y'all literally just have small talk, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? But like, is there like an extra level of like standoffishness now that you are married, or like how do you maneuver in that space?
I mean, I'm not out here thinking like, man, every woman wants to fuck a married man, or every woman wants to fuck this married man. You know what I'm saying? No shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, there is a level for me. There is a level because shit, I know me. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, you hang around something long enough, you know what I'm saying, that you find attractive, or you do all this and you put yourself in those situations, then you know what I'm saying, then it's gonna be more difficult for you to resist that temptation. And that's the thing. Like we talked about this before. I think with resisting temptation is a difficult part to navigate, especially for men, because we were taught to ignore. Like we were taught, you know, if you see something, like you remember we used to do this, but like, man, you see somebody like we was young with like a great body, you be like, ooh, like just on that you should just look away. You know what I'm saying? Like we would ignore. Like if it's a girl that came up to you and you didn't really want to talk to her, whatever have you would ignore. If it's somebody that you don't want to have sex with, you didn't tell them verbatim like, yo, I don't want to have sex with you. You just might not pick up their phone call or whatever have you. Whereas I know a lot of females on that end, a lot of women, they're accustomed to get the fuck away from me, or you know, whatever it is, you know, like they're cool with straight up rejection,
Right,
rather than ignoring. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and that's years built upon that sense of ignoring, but ignoring is not a damn good tactic. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause your ass can eventually get cornered. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, ignoring is not a good tactic. You know, just making sure that you know, you speak it out. And so that's where a lot of that came from. So if like it's somebody that's like super bad, it's like, you know, I may acknowledge it from afar, you know, tell my wife or whatever have you, but I'm not finna, you know, I'm not the one that's gonna, you know, attempt to start conversations or something like that, especially if it's just on the attraction level anyway. You know, I'm not gonna attempt to start conversations and stuff like that. You know, I know me, so it's like, nah, shit, I'm cool.
Now when we was at dinner, we was having a conversation about like basically like being whether you're a faithful person or whether you're a person who steps out from time to time. It's like it's a habit that you kind of create from young boy, adolescent, teenager, college, whatever. Basically, you were saying like, however it is that you live is kind of based off of what you practice just in your life. Like kind of, if
like,
you would speak more on that.
like most guys will say, all right, cool. When I get married, if you were that guy, when I get married, I'm gonna live right. You know, but it's not that simple. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it takes you a little minute to get married. You've built up habits. Like I said, we go back to the resistant temptation. You've built up a behavior of the way that you deal with temptation. And once this whatever event happens, the way that you resist your temptation does not change immediately. You know what I'm saying? It will take some time. So you want to build that up. You want to build that up. So like when you're young and you're dating, you want to make sure that you date around, make sure that you really find the correct one for you. You know, like I told you, a lot of people in the dating stage, once they get with somebody, the novelty of them gets you to hang around them a lot more, the newness of it, and you hang around them a lot more, and then you kind of cut off the other aspect. So it's almost like, yeah, we're dating, almost like we're dating means you're exclusive. You know what I'm saying? And to me, I would change that. You know what I'm saying? You're still single, so you're dating, but you're still finding.
Right.
You know, you're still finding.
And the reason we kind of brought that up, I was telling you, I was giving you like some of my topics that I had wanted to talk about while I was here, whether it was with you, Toya, Talia, or whoever. And one of them, I was being funny, but I kind of really wasn't being funny, where I was like, do you have to, in order to know if you like, I think I phrased it, love somebody, but that's not really what I meant. But in order to know that you want to be with a specific person, do you kind of have to purposely put yourself in a position where you're able to basically fuck other people? Because and the reason I say that is because I've been in situations where I know for a fact, I know that I like a person, but I haven't like leapt off of the cliff to where we're exclusive or we're in a relationship or engaged, married, obviously, because I've never been either one of those. So we haven't reached that point yet. So like you said, in my mind, it's like, okay, we are still single. So let me, in the meantime, you know, let me just kind of still see what is out there, what is available, whatever. And I've been in situations where I get into, you know, an intimate space with another girl, not the girl that I actually like or whatever. And it's like you're unsure until you get in the space and it's about to go down. And then you kind of find yourself either thinking about the other person. I
really don't want to do it. I'm gonna do it.
Or you
I'm gonna do it. But when it's over, I'm gonna call.
Or it's like you only there physically, but you're not there mentally.
Right.
Or sometimes if you're not there mentally, the physical won't even show up either.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like you kind of find yourself being like damn, like maybe I should just go ahead and.
So I mean, but you should, like, what you're saying is the dating stage. Like everything that you're talking about. Like, to me, there's a difference between we're dating to we're exclusive,
right?
To we're about to get married.
But but I agree. But that's also two men sitting down and talking. Like, I think if it was a woman in the room, I think that they would disagree. I think most women would disagree.
Yeah.
Just because the way that men date and the way that women date are totally different most of the time.
Yeah.
Like, most women, at least from my experience, like, they'll find one nigga and just like ride it out with that one person and see what happens. And if they end up in a relationship, then great. But if they don't, it's like, well, damn, like, why did I fucking waste my time? And but it's like, but you kind of wasted your time on purpose, like on your own account. Yeah. Because you found one person and just tunnel vision with that one person, as opposed to basically having a main. Yeah. And then having other people just to kind of not even keep your main on his or her toes, but really to kind of keep you on your toes. Because the one important thing I think of exploring multiple people, not necessarily fucking, but just dating or entertaining, talking to, whatever you want to call it, multiple people, is like you do kind of get to compare.
You need comparison.
And when you do compare, it's like you can then really know like who the fuck is really for you.
Right. Compare greater than, I'm a math teacher. Greater than, less than, or equal to. You know what I'm saying? But you're like one of the things that popped in my mind when you said that though was also understanding how you navigate your loneliness, because a lot of times you're lonely at the house and you call that either that girl or the girl will call that dude, and it may not necessarily be because they want his company. It may just because they want company.
Right.
And that's the most comfortable company available.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's like you got to have those conversations with yourself.
How you know the difference?
How do you know?
How do you know the difference? Like, how do you look yourself in the mirror and know the difference between I really want this person over here versus I just really want a person over here?
Damn, that's a tough ass question. Let me. I'm trying to take it back to.
Because I think, but while you thinking,
yeah,
I think the difference between the two, and it goes back to what I was saying before. I don't think you really know until after that company has come over.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because like the person who you really want their company, when they're there, you enjoy them, and when they leave, like you kind of want them to come back, or you can't wait until they come back. But the person who's like just a person who's filling a space, at least in my experience, it's like you hype before they come over, and then once they come over, you kind of be like, I don't really want this person over.
Before I answer, have you ever been torn between two while you were dating?
Yes.
Has there ever been?
Yes.
How did you do? How did you do that? So, did you balance it out? Did you leave both of them? Did you eventually choose? Like,
I eventually chose, and I made a horrible choice.
Fuck.
And and it was.
You should have fucked somebody else.
What? Well, that.
Hey, side note. So, rest in peace to my father. But I had told him one time, I was like, yo, like, what happens when you torn in between two people? And he was like, well, son, you just go get another one because your brain can't function three. So it's going to naturally select one.
Yo.
Swear to God.
Wait, is that great advice or is that horrible advice?
Great advice. I'm married.
Okay.
No.
Okay. All right. Yo, that's funny as shit.
Nah, but yeah, no, like that. Man, that question is so tough. I'm trying to take me back to that spot. It's been so many years ago, but I'm trying to take me back to that spot. And how did I know? I mean, I'm trying to how I knew was but I think like when you're with somebody, you also can kind of vision yourself in the future and stuff like that. So a lot of that future stuff goes with as you're looking, and then you can kind of develop a sense of, damn, this shit feels good for right now versus this shit will be good for me later on too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But having the thoughts, I don't disagree, but having the thoughts is one thing, but physically or actively like cutting everybody else off is a whole different thing. So like at what point do you make the decision to be like, all right, I'm not going to talk to nobody else. I'm just going to focus on this one person because I've had the thoughts and now I'm putting the thoughts into action.
Man, that's like, I mean, it's just going to have to come when you're, man, that's a very hard question, dog. Like, that's a tough question. So when you know, restate it again, so maybe I can answer. Let me hear that question again. Say it again. So
I'm like, so basically, in the simple form is like, when do you actually basically cut your hose off? Mm-hmm. But because what I'm saying is, I would imagine that the series of thoughts or the series of events is you're thinking about, damn, I really like her, but I still got these other bitches. Mm-hmm. But damn, like, even when I'm with the other bitches, like, I still, like, kind of want to fuck with her, though. Mm-hmm. And then, like, so you thinking it, but you still playing the field. Mm-hmm. But then it comes to a point where, as opposed to you just thinking, like, damn, I know I really want to be with her, mm-hmm. it goes into action. And you say, you know what? I do really want to be with her. I'm not going to talk to the rest of my squad no more. Mm-hmm. So, like,
when do you know that?
Yeah.
When you start to hang around those other people and you just like, I'm ready to be back with this other person. Like, even when you're with that person, even when you're with those other ones, and it starts to just become an overwhelming feeling like, man, I'm ready to get on back, you know. And it's like, even after you, whatever you do, you know, even after you have sex, it's like, you going to be ready to leave. You know what I'm saying? Didn't leave. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Houston.
Said, get that bread, get that head.
But no, yeah, you gonna be ready to like go. It's like, all right, well, and once you feel that, you gonna know it's like, man, this is unfair to this person. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm providing something to this person that I can't promise them because I'm thinking about somebody else. Yeah. You know, but like I said, you got to make sure. Once it gets like that, then that's when you know it's like, okay, I'm approaching. I was a slow ass motherfucker. It's like, okay, I'm approaching.
Yeah, no, I'm slow with that shit too.
Yeah, so like I'm approaching, you know, exclusiveness. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to exclusiveness.
Welcome to exclusiveness. What did nigga say? Wait, what did nigga say? He said, my cervix, my ovaries.
My cervix, my ovaries.
Relax, I'm doing this.
Welcome to exclusiveness.
That's so funny.
But yeah, like, so I mean, but like I said, the key is now that I know, it's like the key is just really, really knowing yourself, knowing how you handle conflict, knowing how you having things to do, putting yourself, like you said, put yourself out there. Not only just put yourself out there to with like the opposite sex, but like put yourself out there, put your activities out there. You know what I'm saying? If you like this, go explore it, poetry clubs, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Painting, like have a list of activities that you do, so that you can tell that, like, man, I normally love looking at whatever, and I'm thinking of such and so while I'm doing this other activity that I've been doing for years. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So not just put yourself out there but put yourself all the way out there with activities and everything, and then, you know, you'll start to see where your head starts to drift. But make sure, like I say, make sure it's not drifting there only because you're bored or because it's cold or it's cuffing season. It's like, well, I need somebody right now. This person to do. That's the most dangerous and most toxic situations there are, because, you know, people latch on to somebody for, man, it's cuffing season, I just want some company, and then you know, y'all fuck around, you realize you don't like them, but you still fucking around with the company, and then you fuck around and get pregnant or some shit, and then you know, and then now you like, damn, I'm stuck with this motherfucker, all because I didn't know how to navigate my loneliness. Right. You know, so you gotta make sure you do that. One
last question, because we didn't really go too in depth on it. So like, practicing how to be faithful versus practice. I don't even want to say practicing how to cheat, but practicing how to make it tough to be faithful. How do you do each of those, like, while you're single? Because I don't want to get it misconstrued for the people who are watching. I think the practice is too late for, like, when you're technically like a single person, like on tax forms, basically like not married, but you're in a relationship. Like, I think then it's kind of too late to practice, because you're already in a situation where you're supposed to be like committed to just one person or whatever. So like, as a single person who's not in a relationship, how would you suggest that one that one person practices how to be monogamous, versus how would a single person practice how to, you know, make it kind of tough to be monogamous?
How would a single person practice on?
Yeah, because like what we was talking about earlier, you was like, it's not something that you could just like flip the switch on. Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying. But it's tough because it's kind of contradictory, because like, as a single man, right? Most single niggas just, you know, want to have sex with various women. So like, but that's kind of what you're supposed to do when you're single. However, when you enter a relationship, even though it's not marriage, you still do kind of have to flip that switch to where you go from, like, you know, maybe fucking a couple of different bitches every week to now just having sex and only talking to and texting and spending time with just one woman. You know what I'm saying? So like, how does one practice good, faithful habits when you're in a point in your life where you're not even really where you're supposed to be like, you know, exploring various options.
I mean, I would say sometimes the key to those good habits, a lot of times don't even have to do with like the relationship. It's like, it should be things within, like, you're dedicated to the gym, correct?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have a certain, so you have a feeling, so you know how to resist it, man. It's raining outside. Fuck it, I'm still finna go to the gym.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you have a feeling, and a lot of those people, like, the more, once again, the more situations you put yourself in, that shows, even though it's not a girl or whatever have you, it's still that feeling of, I'm finna resist this.
Okay.
And even those little things build into who you are and your character.
So, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but I think what I'm hearing or how I'm interpreting it is, it's not even necessarily how you interact with the opposite sex. It's more so just the level of discipline that you have in your life.
Yes.
In general.
Yes.
Okay.
Like, that's what's going to put you forward. Like, a lot of people who, like, if people who come from a married home tend to be more, I ain't saying all of them more, but tend to be, you know, more stable and consistent and confident in marriage than those who were not, because they saw it. You know what I'm saying? So they saw the behavior, whatever have you. So, like they say, you know, you should eventually end up coming back to that, unless you just chose the wrong motherfucking person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, but a person who was not, you know, they don't know that. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, to further that, sometimes they don't necessarily even know discipline as much as those, because it was only possibly one parent there. So, you know, they could get away with some things, right, and whatever have you. So they could live kind of undisciplined. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have, you know, that person looking over them like that. So, and I'm not saying that single parent kids is fucked up,
nigga, because we
right,
both is yeah.
But I mean, but like I say, it's a whole composite type of picture that you got to have. And like I said, the key of everything is just knowing how you deal with conflict and how you deal with, like, temptation, dog. Like, and those is patterns. There is no switch, especially when you talking about marriage. You know what I'm saying? There is no. So if it was my advice, it's like, when you decide to be exclusive, be fucking exclusive. You know what I'm saying? Be exclusive all the way when you decide to do that, because if you dip off in your 20s, you know, and then say, oh man, you know, it's the whatever, I'll be better in my 30s. You know what I'm saying? In the 30s come and you still kind of doing the same shit. Then your 40s come, and then you still kind of doing the same shit, you know. And then you turn 50, and it's like, you know, what you gonna do? Join the church and become a deacon, and then, you know, redo your life all over and try to, you know, but you still the same. You never built those habits. So
it's kind of like how they, when I hear people talking about like street shit and like niggas who actually out here, like, who shooters basically, it's like, it's almost like once you do it once, it actually gets easier to do it again and again and again.
Yeah, like,
you know what I'm saying?
You gotta, like I said, you really gotta train your mind, train your body, know your mind, know yourself. You know, like, that's the best advice that I've ever gotten. Like I said, my homeboy had told me, you know, because we would talk, he was married, and I'd be like, man, you know, and it's like, hey man, look, this is what I do. I just remove myself from those situations as much as I can. You know, I just, you know, because like I say, any form of intimacy, it can lead, especially if you know, like I said, know yourself. If you know that person is attractive or whatever have you, then, and you know yourself. Now, you know, if you know, like, man, I was formerly a dog ass motherfucker, so, you know, I love, you know, like, so you know yourself. You know, you gotta protect yourself from you, and just like, nope, I ain't saying shit to nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, man, I appreciate it, man. Like I said, this is gonna be real short, real sweet. Hopefully we kept it under like 30 minutes. I just seen this nigga take the bottle and shit.
That's right.
But nah, man, my nigga.
Unofficially Hennessy.
But my nigga Meaze, man, I always appreciate when you come on. Definitely when you come on the live, but it's always a different energy, like in person and shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Hopefully the people fuck with it. Hopefully they love the conversation. I feel like we got a lot of topics in a really, really short amount of time, because people's attention spans is fucking trash. So yeah, man, I'll be back with another one. I don't know if it's gonna be Toya next or Talia next. I don't know if I'm gonna have this nigga Trav on, because y'all know how he is, but we'll see, man. We'll see how it goes, man.
Shit,
but
I might come back. I'm gonna find out what that combo was. Find out what it was, and shit, I might come back tomorrow, nigga. I'm gonna bring some more Hennessy, nigga. Some more Hennessy.
A big bottle, nigga.
Big bottles, Hennessy's and enemies. Shout out to Tupac, man.
Oh my lord. But yeah, man. Another episode of One Mic Stand, man. Houston. It's always love. I'll be back next week. Jackson1616 is my Instagram, obviously, and then One Mic Stand is the podcast Instagram. ONE_stand, or excuse me, Mike underscore stand. I think I'm a little fucking. I think I'm a little fucked up. Under slores. I want to be under slores.
Under the slores tonight.
All right, man. We out. My nigga.